The settlement of New Haven sat like a scar on the purple grasslands of Kepler 442b, humanity's newest foothold among the stars. 10-year-old Evan Holt pressed his face against the reinforced glass of his bedroom window, watching the twin suns rise over the alien horizon. His mother always told him the same thing: stay inside the perimeter, don't touch the native flora, and never ever approach the creatures. But Evan had never been good at following rules. He'd first spotted Rinka 3 weeks ago, a creature unlike anything in the colony's databases. It moved with predatory grace on 4 powerful legs, its body covered in scales that shimmered between midnight blue and silver. A ridge of crystalline spines ran along its back, and its eyes glowed with an intelligence that made Evan's skin prickle. The creature was the size of a wolf but moved like flowing water, part reptile, part something else entirely. Every morning Rinka appeared at the edge of the settlement, just as the first sun crested the hills. It would pause, turn those luminescent eyes toward Evan's window as if it knew he was watching, then disappear into the forest of towering fungi that the colonists called the Whisperwood. This morning Evan made a decision. He slipped past his sleeping mother, disabled the door alarm with the code he'd memorized months ago, and stepped into the cool alien air. The purple grass crunched beneath his boots, releasing a scent like cinnamon and ozone. In the distance, Rinka's silhouette paused at the forest edge. The creature turned. Their eyes met. Then Rinka vanished into the shadows between the massive fungal stalks, and Evan ran after it. The Whisperwood swallowed him whole. Bioluminescent spores drifted through the air like tiny stars, and the fungal trees groaned and whispered in the wind. Evan's heart hammered in his chest, but he pressed forward, following the occasional flash of silver scales ahead. Rinka led him deeper than any colonist had gone, past the mapped zones and into territory marked red on every chart. The ground sloped downward, and the air grew thick with moisture. Strange calls echoed through the forest, clicking, humming, sounds that made no sense to human ears. Then the trees opened up. Evan stumbled into a clearing and froze. Before him stretched a massive crater, easily a kilometer wide, and at its center stood structures. Not natural formations, buildings. Towers of crystalline material spiraled upward, connected by bridges of what looked like solidified light. The architecture was organic yet deliberate, beautiful in its alien geometry. But it was what filled the crater that stole Evan's breath. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Creatures of every conceivable shape and size, moving through the crystalline city with purpose. Some walked, some flew, some slithered or crawled. A bustling metropolis of alien life hidden beneath the canopy, invisible to orbital scans. Rinka sat at the crater's edge, watching him. You brought me here, Evan whispered. You wanted me to see this. The creature's spines glowed softly, pulsing with rhythmic light. Then Rinka stood and began descending into the crater. Evan followed, his fear replaced by wonder. As they entered the city, the alien inhabitants paused in their activities. Hundreds of eyes, compound, multifaceted, singular in colors humans had no names for, turned toward the human child. Evan's legs trembled, but he kept walking. Rinka led him to the largest structure at the city's center, a tower that seemed to grow from the planet's bedrock itself. Inside, the walls were covered in images. No, not images, memories. Evan could feel them pressing against his consciousness, showing him things. This planet, millions of years ago, covered in these cities. A thriving civilization of countless species living in harmony. Then the sky tearing open, massive ships descending, weapons that turned entire continents to glass. The Scourge, an enemy that had swept through this sector of the galaxy like wildfire, destroying everything in its path. These survivors had hidden underground in the deep places, adapting their cities to grow beneath the fungal forests that shielded them from orbital detection. They had been hiding for 3,000 years. Rinka pressed its head against Evan's hand, and suddenly he understood. The images crystallized into meaning, into language beyond words. The survivors had watched humanity arrive, studied them, debated. Were these newcomers another threat, or something different? Then they'd seen Evan, a child who watched instead of feared, who was curious instead of hostile. So Rinka had taken a chance, had reached out, had brought him here to see the truth. They wanted humanity to know they existed. They wanted allies. Because the Scourge was returning, Evan's blood ran cold as the final images flooded his mind. Ships at the edge of the system moving slowly inward, scanning, searching. The same ships that had destroyed this civilization once before. They would arrive in 6 months, maybe less, and when they did, they would finish what they'd started, destroying not just the survivors but humanity's fledgling colony as well. "We need to tell them," Evan said, his voice shaking. "My people need to know. We can help each other. We can fight together." Rinka's spines blazed with brilliant light, and throughout the city thousands of voices rose in a harmony that transcended species. It was agreement. It was hope. It was a choice to trust. When Evan returned to New Haven 3 hours later, his mother nearly collapsed with relief. The colony's defense coordinator was ready to punish him for breaching the perimeter until Evan told them everything. Some adults laughed. Others dismissed him as a child with an overactive imagination. But Commander Chen, a grizzled veteran of Earth's last war, looked into Evan's eyes and saw the truth there. She sent scouts to verify. Within a day, humanity made first contact not with one species, but with 47. The alliance was forged in secret urgency. Human technology combined with alien knowledge of the Scourge's tactics. The fungal forests became strategic advantages. The survivors shared weapons that bent physics in ways human scientists had only theorized. When the Scourge arrived 6 months later, they expected to find a helpless colony and the scattered remnants of a broken civilization. Instead, they found humanity standing shoulder to shoulder with species they'd thought extinct, armed and ready, fighting for a shared home. The battle lasted 3 days. The Scourge retreated, battered and confused, their fleet broken. And in the aftermath, as humans and aliens rebuilt together, Evan Holt stood beside Rinka on the same hill where it had all begun. The creature's spines glowed softly in the light of the twin suns, and Evan smiled. One curious human child had followed an alien into the unknown and changed everything.